Look here, this is our new tool Edio tool version 3.0. In this tool we added 4 modes. Mode 1 is UART mode, mode 2 is IR receiver mode, mode 3 is IR service mode, mode 4 is IR remote mode. Mode 1, we start with the mode 1. Mode 1 is the mode 1 is the UART mode. Look here, UART BD 115200. BD is nothing but the baud rate. 115200 is the default baud rate of our programmer. What is the baud rate? If you want to read the serial informations from your motherboards means you must know the baud rate of your motherboard. The baud rate is nothing but is the speed of your serial data. If you want to receive the proper serial data from your motherboards means you have to tune your programmer in the same baud rate of your motherboard. For example, if your motherboard have, if your motherboard have 921600 for the baud rate means you have to set here 921600. If you set same baud rate means then only you will get the proper data. In case if you going to select the wrong baud rate 9600 1150 wrong baud rate means you won't get the proper data. You will get the data like in some mathematics coding data you will get. In the type you will get. If you want to get your proper data means you must know the baud rate of your motherboard. That same baud rate you have to select here. So this is the main function of the baud rate. In the mostly in LED motherboards they are using 115200. This is the common baud rate of the motherboards. 90% of motherboards they are using this baud rate. So in this programmer, if you going to switch tool, this tool you going to switch on, the default baud rate is 115200. So major of 90% of motherboards they are using same baud rate. So you don't need to change anything. Just power on your programmer, so power on your tool, you will get the 115200 baud rate in default conditions. So in the default conditions, next what you going to do means you need to connect your UART cables in your program. You need to connect your motherboard in this programmer using UART cables. There are many type of UART cables available in that market. Based on the motherboard designs, they are using different type of UART ports. In this is the older motherboards. In the older motherboards, they are using VGA ports. In the VGA ports, you can easy to use this VGA to VGA cable. You have to connect one end here, another end here. If you connect means you will get the data here. In some motherboards, latest motherboards like MI, in any other motherboards, they are using. Look here. In this motherboard we don't have VGA port, but we have the HDMI ports. In the HDMI backside they mentioned HDMI UART 2.0, HDMI UART. Look here now, UART mentioned UART. Some motherboards they mentioned debug. All the things are same. So based on the motherboard design, they are using the different type of UART ports, VGA ports, and then that's this type of HDMI ports, and then USB ports, and then audio socket. This type of ports, this type of audio sockets, the different type of motherboard manufacturer using different type of UART ports. But you must know where the UART will come out. Then only you can communicate with our tool. And one more thing, in this device, in this motherboard have a 3 HDMI ports means that you won't get the UART port for this all the 3 HDMI ports. You only get where they mentioned UART. Here now, this last port only works like a UART port. If you connect here in this port, you want to read the serial data means you won't get any data. So you must know the exact serial port of your motherboard. What you going to do means first you have to connect your UART port using any type of the cables. In some motherboards they don't have any ports. In some motherboards they are using test points. In that time what you going to do means we provide one connector here, this connector in this connector, this first pin is ground RX TX 3.3 voltage. Okay, provide this type of cables. In this cables, one end is you have to connect here. You can connect directly. One second. Connect directly. Another end is you can easy to solder your motherboards using this wire. Communicate your motherboard using this wire. The wire connection is, first one is ground, second one is RX TX 3.3. 3.3 is optional. For some special case motherboards we will be using 3.3. Otherwise we only need these three things. This is enough for that. Ground, RX TX, ground, RX TX. First, what you going to do? If you want to connect the VGA or any ports using our VGA ports means you can directly connect here. Otherwise, if you want to solder any RX TX points means you can use this wires TX. In case if you solder wrongly RX to RX, TX to TX means you no need to worry. Just press this button. The RX TX automatically switch the positions, and then you will get the data. Okay. First look here. First we explain about our main function of these functions. These are the recovery buttons. Recovery 1 to recovery 12. We have the 12 number of recovery buttons based on the processor. All the button functions we added here. Button commands we added in backside of your programmer. Recovery 1 to recovery 12, and we have some special commands, service commands, and we have the explain I will later. This is the recovery commands. Look here. This 4 button is called console buttons. Console 1, console 2, console 3, console 4. These are the console buttons. Console button is nothing but in Android motherboards, if you want to enter any commands in your motherboards means first you have to enter into the console mode. That means a developer mode. The basic developer mode. In the basic developer mode, first you have to enter into that, and then only you have to give the any predefined commands. Then only it will works. So first what you going to do? First you have to turn on. First you have to turn off your programmer. Then you have to connect the proper VGA or any kind of cable, or you have to solder using this RX TX point. The RX demo purpose. Now I going to connect one MI motherboard using VGA to HDMI cable to our tool. Look here, this is the MI motherboard. In this MI motherboard there are 3 HDMI ports available, but the manufacturer will provide the UART out in this port only, third port only. So I connect here only. If you connect the cable here means you won't get any data. So you have to connect the correct UART port, then only you will get the proper data. Then this motherboard baud rate is 11.5200. You have to know the correct baud rate, okay, because you have to enter here, but this our motherboard baud rate is 11.5200. Most of the 90% of motherboards baud rate is 11.5200. So no need to change anything in this process. So then you must to know the processor of this motherboards. They are using AMLogic processors. Look here, T950X series processors. T950X series means, if you remove the heat sinks means, the T950 they mentioned over the processor, that is the AMLogic processor. So the 3 things, this is the HDMI port, this is the UART out, the second one is baud rate 11.500, third one is the AMLogic processor. These 3 is enough for that. Once you know this all the things, what you going to do means, just you have to power on your motherboard. Once I power on this motherboard, I power on the motherboard, but I won't get any data. In the time what happened means, the RX TX will wrongly connected. So RX to RX, TX to TX is connected means we won't get data. The RX TX connection method is you have to connect RX, our tools RX to motherboard TX, our tool TX to motherboard RX. Then only you will get the data. But in our tool we have a special function. You no need to change the RX TX wiring. Just press this button. Automatically RX TX switch. Now I'm going to turn off my motherboard. Again turn on again. Look here, I will get the data. Okay. So now what are you going to do means, I want to recover this motherboard. So what are you going to do? I first want to enter into the console mode. The console entering process, if you want to enter into the console mode, you have to select the console button pressed based on the processor. At the same time, you have to press the console keys is in power on mode or standby mode. Based this the two things is based on processor. So for example, if you want to enter into the M star motherboard's console mode means what you're going to do means you have to power off your motherboard and then just press the console on button. You will switch on your motherboard, you will get the proper data. It's automatically enter into console mode. But in the same thing, if you're going to use this MI motherboards, sorry, AMLogic process means it won't work, because based on the processor, the console entering function will change. For M-Star, MediaTek, some motherboards, if you want to enter into the console mode, you have to power off your programmer, power on your motherboard. That is the one method. For MI motherboards, what we going to do means you have to put this motherboard into standby condition. Then you have to press the console on button. Then is automatically enter the console mode. Then you have to give the recovery commands. So based on the processor, this console entering process also will change. So just want to know what the processor they are using. This is the main thing. So now what I'm going to do means I'm going to switch off my motherboard and I'm going to power on again. My motherboard in standby condition. Now what I'm going to do means just I'm going to press the console button and then release the standby. Look here, our motherboard automatically enter into the console mode. Look here, if you want to press this button, the new line will create it. Okay, here once you will get this type of text with ASCII, your motherboard enter into console mode. ASCII, this text will change based on the processor and the model number. The text will change, but once you get this type of ASCII, your motherboard enters into console mode. In the time only this recovery buttons will work. If a motherboard not entering into the console mode, the buttons are not works. So once you get this type of ASCII, then you have to press the recovery command. In this motherboard, recovery command is run update. This motherboard recovery command is run update. Look here, backside recovery 10 button is run update. If I want to enter into the recovery mode of this motherboard means what I going to do means just press the recovery 10 button. Look here, the recovery process will automatically started and then your motherboard automatically turn on and then you will show the recovery page in that your screen. And one more thing, I need to clarify one thing to everyone. This is the hardware terminal tool. Just like your PC terminal, the putty, CQCRT, the lot of paid terminals there, na, a similar function our tool will do. But many people think if you can purchase this tool, this type of hardware tools, not only my tool, there are many hardware tools in mobile market. In that, if you're going to purchase these hardware tools, you're going to have to connect to your motherboard. The motherboard automatically get recovered. Does not happen. This is the hardware terminal tool. What the PC terminals do, the same thing this tool too will do. But this tool will easy to make your recovery process like a user friendly type. So you can easy to carry this hardware tool to everywhere. You can to connect your motherboards and you can do the recovery things. And one more thing I need to clarify to everyone. If you're going to repair the any same kind of software motherboards, you must know the basic of the software functions and process. You must know the basic of what processor they are using, how we are going to identify that processor, what about it in that motherboard they are using, where the UART out will come. These are all the basic things we must know. Without knowing these things, we can't not able to communicate with your motherboards and we can't do the any recovery things. So if you're going to repair, for example, if you're going to repair on hardware means, you must know the in basic of the hardware functions. Then only you can easy to track the problems and you can diagnose the problem and you can to repair. The same function you have to do in the software section. So if you want to repair any software problem, you must to know where the software problems happened, in boot section or user area. In boot section means what we going to do, in user area what we going to do, in how to communicate with your terminals, how to connect the terminals, using our terminals, how to send the enter in the console mode, using on the console, and which service recovery button we need to press. These are all the things you must to know. So there's all the things are we provide in that pdf. In the pdf we mentioned what are the processor using that motherboards, and the which processor, based on the processor which service command need to press, and how to enter into the console mode, what are the procedure to enter the console mode, all the things we provide in that pdf. Yeah, just go through it, and if you have any doubt, ask in that our paid group. In that group we will provide all the details. Whatever we having, we will give it to you. So we will try to rectify all kind of recovery problems and all kind of software problems. If you have any doubts, just free to ask me. Thank you.